welcome in everybody to the Solar Scarabs team check-in. We got a little Q&A from you guys as well towards the end. This reminds me that we were talking about a wobbly table. I think the worst Shark Tank idea I've ever seen was a guy who sold like pads that go under the feet of tables, and that was his idea.
Genius.
Like his idea was just
he invented that all by himself.
Yeah, I think it was like a screw thing, I guess, that you put under the tables, and his idea was that he was gonna sell it to like restaurants all over the world. Or
How'd he do?
like that. If I remember correctly, he did not get an investment.
Probably not great.
It was one of those where he went in, they asked about sales, and he was like, "We're pre-sales, like we don't have any money."
Yeah.
That's tough.
Would you have invested, Bobby?
I'd love to see how it worked first, but if it worked well, like I could see myself
It
investing
sounds
in it.
quite self-explanatory.
Yeah. I just want to see how it worked, though.
I feel like you probably wouldn't need to.
I would not touch that.
I personally would need to.
Well, yeah, I just don't know if it's a big enough problem. You know, I think I'm out. I'd be the first one to go out, so I didn't have to be the
I'd be a
last one
quick
to
second. I'd be the guy who's waiting for somebody else to do it, and then I'm out.
We don't want to be the last one to go out, right?
Yeah.
If you were on Shark Tank, let's start the Q&A a little early. If you're on Shark Tank, which order do you want to go out? I think I would want to be the first one to go out. You definitely want to be
Kind of
last,
depends,
right?
right?
Second or third, probably.
I feel like last
I
has
feel
to
like
be OP.
Half the times that they go out first, they just come back later anyway.
I guess that's
so I
true,
just
they
say
come back
I
in.
go out first because it means nothing. Because
I
I
guess
can
that's
just come back later in.
I for sure wouldn't want to be last because I feel like I'd be breaking someone's like soul by doing that.
Yeah, I'd want to be last.
You
You laugh at them while you do it.
That's such a Mifflin answer. Like,
I just want to be just break their soul.
yeah.
Laugh while you do it.
I'd probably be like,
Point.
what's
Maniacally.
his name, Mark Cuban?
Yeah.
He's always last, like just sitting there while they all are negotiating.
He's
Like,
just thinking. He's thinking.
And everyone wants Mark, right? Like
Yeah.
everyone wants to partner with Mark Cuban.
Yeah, I want Mark.
And so like they have some hope that they're still going to get Mark, but
You had very longing eyes when you said that.
I just dream of the day.
Just
you
waiting for
partner
a
with
call.
Mark Cuban.
Yeah.
You have
To
an
sell
invention ready to go for
the
Shark Tank?
table thing, so they stop. Yeah.
Table thing
Genius.
too.
Got some on
Yeah,
hand
yeah.
right now.
First one wasn't good.
It's a better prototype.
Right.
Yeah.
The second one maybe a little bit better. All right, so it's been what, 2 months, 3 months almost now since the boys have been in studio playing some Smite.
Yo.
Has the gang taken some downtime, or have we hit the ground running?
Oh yeah.
Some
We've
downtime.
hit the ground running. Maybe not.
Rock
but-
bottom.
Right,
but-
faces on the floor.
Yeah,
but
we may have tripped on the first step.
I do feel like that's a consistent answer, though. I think taking downtime postseason is very important. Did you guys just spend some time with family and
Well, they got to. We spent like a good month and a half just running around looking at houses and
Yeah.
apartments to try and get.
Yep.
That was fun.
Yeah.
Well, I guess the pressure was probably off with like playing tournaments for the SPL for the Warriors and the Valkyries,
That did help, for sure.
Right.
That did help.
knowing that you could just
Yeah.
sit back and relax a little bit. Well, good. I'm glad you guys got a chance to sort of chill out postseason. And really rosters, and I guess with already looking at houses and things like that, we're already going to start with some roster talk here. 4 out of 5 team members sticking together. Everyone at this table obviously returning from last year. For you 4, was there ever a consideration for you 4 as players, and then coach, of course? Was there ever a consideration to not be together going into this season? Was that ever a possibility?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we should probably have him start.
I mean,
You don't have,
yeah, I mean-
answer how you feel comfortable. Up to you.
I'm a big like. I really think that people should look at all their options in the
of course.
offseason. I think people should explore their options, and I think it's foolish not to. And
Agreed.
there was definitely some situations this offseason that could have been completely different based on a few things. But overall, the rosters were pretty similar. So,
Yeah.
but there could have been a pretty big domino effect if a few of them went a different way. So.
Yeah. But I would say overall, as a team, we tried pretty hard,
Right.
as hard as we could, to keep the team together as hard as we could. Because I think a big key point of our success last year was that we were all such good friends
Right.
and teammates. So I think there was like a pretty hard push to try and like keep all of us together.
Yeah, and I am curious because, needless to say, the start of the year was tough for the squad, roster swaps. Felt like you guys really hit your stride towards the end of the year. Obviously, everyone will always admit there's still growth to be done. But was a lot of the we want to stick together as a team, realizing that you improved so much over the course of last year, and you still see just massive potential with this squad? Was a lot of the consideration in sticking together still realizing the sky's the limit with this team?
I mean, I think we had a lot of really good games, even like the middle part of the year.
Yeah.
We just had a big consistency problem, and that consistency kind of we just got a lot more consistent through the year, and I think we saw our potential kind of right away as we were taking games off of the Dragons.
I mean, what was the stat? Like, we went to 3 games against every top team except, I think, Levi's.
You gave us so many long days. I mean, there were so many good days of Smite. Don't get me wrong. I love
about
the
the game
competitive
ones,
back.
game twos look good.
We're good game
threes.
twos.
We're
Threes were
overconfident, and we
Right.
just
Right, you're taking every team in the league effectively to 3 games at least. So there was a roster swap, and I think one change is the most that any team in the league went through, right?
Yeah, if you bar the Valks.
Outside of the Valkyries being a totally new team to the league, every team just had a swap. So for you guys, SOT no in for Scary D. Whoever's comfortable, walk me through sort of what happened in the solo lane.
Definitely not. Definitely not me.
Again, as in-depth or not as you want to be, we can focus on Scary D more so if we want, but sort of what goes into that decision.
do you want me to do it?
I mean, sure.
I mean,
Basically, Salt was obviously part of the really good friendship, but there were still some things that maybe we weren't. I mean, it's hard to say because obviously at Worlds he played completely lights out and it was absolutely nuts. You could make the argument that he was one of our best players for the whole tournament, but there were still some issues that we had that we felt would be better overall to go with someone else.
Sure.
But that kind of turns into what Scream was saying, how a few small things could have changed everything kind of thing. So,
Right.
But overall, we were all obviously really happy with how Sark played. It just kind of in the end came down to just a few small things that made us want to go with Ronnie.
Yeah, and I don't. Obviously, he's not here to talk for himself on this. What was in your mind, if anyone got a good feel of it, the last year for Scary D? I mean, started the year with the Titans, didn't end the year on an SPL roster. Does anyone have a good feel for him that feels comfortable speaking on it? Mentally for him, how the last year was and sort of his prep and all that going into this season.
I mean, I probably talked to him the most in the offseason, so I think I have probably the best read on him. I know he's really motivated this year because I think he feels like he kind of got snubbed out of a spot last year because with just how things worked out for the Titans. And then he in my opinion and in his opinion, he feels like he maybe got scapegoated a little bit on that team. And he just kind of feels like he wants to come in hot and he wants to prove himself again, I think.
Right.
I think is where he's at.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of motivation behind him now. And as a roster, it's only one swap, but new player on the team. Realistically, what do you guys think the wind-up time is? Kind of integrating him into your mentality, your play style, things like that. Do you feel like that takes a long time, or is sort of player dependent? How's that been going?
We definitely play the game a little bit differently than most teams. Our play style is really we have to really be on top of it with how we play the game. We're very much so a hit and run type team, in my opinion. We play the game very dirty. Sometimes the games will become very sloppy.
Right.
But sometimes that could be we could force other teams to do the same thing. And I think our play style is I think it's going to take a little bit overall to build it up. Scary, he'll probably integrate fine. I mean, he's a great player, so he knows what to do in most situations. So I think it'll be good.
Yeah, I'm excited.
I think it's more of a team thing rather than having Ronnie integrate as a team because he kind of fit in with us really well. He jokes along well. It's it felt really natural him joining in. But I think as a team, even last year, whenever we would take breaks, it would take us a week, maybe 2 weeks to actually get in the swing of things because these first few scrims. Not been great to watch.
Right. Take some time.
Being at 11 a.m. now.
Yeah, wait. All right.
talk about it
we
later.
were having a debate. Who asked me? Was it you asked me what time I get up? Somebody
That was
asked
me, yeah.
You asked me. Somebody asked me, and I said, the dog gets me up but I would love to get up at 10 or 11. So the 11 a.m. scrim blocks have been
They gotta go.
tough.
No.
They gotta go.
We will be able to scrim one team.
Okay.
We will be able to scrim one
The
team.
11 a.m. scrim block should be fantastic, but we
man.
make them not fantastic. But they should be. Honestly, I love
There's a certain few people that make them quite
an
maybe.
obvious,
It's not
certain,
it's
clear
not-
few.
Even if we showed up every single day and we played fine at 11 a.m.
Yeah, big if.
There's still a problem where some players.
I've yet to see that.
There are some players. I mean, yeah.
There's one scrim block that.
Theoretically, it would work, right? But even the other teams, some players, they just don't function early in the morning.
The one scrim was pretty bad and it wasn't our fault.
Which one?
I don't want to
There's
say
a lot
it.
of bad ones. There were a lot of bad ones.
But the most of them are on us.
11 a.m.
Yeah.
Yes.
no, we had bad 2 p.m. scrims too.
I don't think we had a bad 2 p.m.
Yeah, we did.
All right.
This guy did.
Oh, yeah. Okay, never mind.
Listen,
There could be an argument made for practice how you play, and you're never going to be playing at 11 a.m., right? I'm sorry.
that's a good one.
Maybe during Worlds,
When these
though,
guys book
that's
the
really when it
scrims, they can
matters.
change the time.
Who would you say is the most irresponsible or responsible for scrim blocks? Not for them getting scheduled, but like showing up and being good at 11 a.m. Who's the worst at that?
Well, it's not a fact of being irresponsible. It's a fact of being functional. And
Sure,
I
functional.
Just, like,
Functional.
He needs
Who's the
3
most
games
or least
warm-up.
functional at 11 a.m.?
And I don't know what it is. I just I wake up at 10 or 11. I just want to like chill and like
You need some
warm
wind-up
up
time.
my.
But that 1 o'clock scrim hits and it's like his brain turns on.
Yeah, like 1 p.m. I'm good to go.
The other day, he didn't have his morning coffee, so he just decided to eat a scoop of.
Not
of,
the grounds.
What was it?
Gamer subs.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
No, not coffee grounds.
He basically just took 2 scoops of it and then like 2 scrims, and he's like, guys,
I was tweaking out.
This was a mistake.
Oh
I
my
messed
God.
up.
Yeah, I
Should
don't.
just eat the coffee grounds next time.
Yeah, that
might
would have
be
been
better.
better, probably, to be honest.
Are any of you guys like pre-workout guys, pre-gym?
I think all of us are.
Dry scoop
I
or?
don't-
I guess he's not.
never
Pre-workout
mind.
doesn't really do
No,
anything.
dry scoop is disgusting.
Yeah, it's
I actually
horrible.
don't feel anything.
You're a
pre-workout.
fiend if you do that.
Yeah, I can't dry
Yeah.
scoop. That was my next question.
Good.
So. But you dry scoop gamer subs, but not. Pre-workout.
I guess I go to the gym a little bit.
Oh, we noticed. Watch out! He'll snap his keyboard in half. He gets mad. No more 11 a.m. scrims. All right, let's talk a little bit more about the team going into this year. So the roster, again, Scardy D, the only swap for this team. Would you say mentally as a squad, though, with the roster not changing all that drastically, mentally as a squad, planning, prep, in-game style, whatever it may be, is there anything the team wants to approach differently in Season 9, where you look back at Season 8, we did a whole lot of this, and we want to do this differently going into the year? Does anything come to mind when you think of that?
I don't think we've really talked about it, but there's some stuff that like sticks out for me, but we never really talked about it as a team. Mine would just be like the way we approach scrims.
Sure.
I just see it's like almost like the first scrim is like a I don't know, it's like a rank game, casual.
A game 1 Scarabs.
Yeah, it's a game 1 Scarabs.
Again,
It's just like an
it's
SPL.
Again, it's the start time. That's the cause of
We
it.
did it last year at 1, and it was the same thing.
No, man.
I mean,
Yeah.
personally,
This-
I was there at 1.
You were there at 11 too.
Physically.
Not fully.
Not mentally.
Yeah, mentally, we'll see.
His soul is still in bed.
Cuddling
I
silence.
just think that maybe a little bit more consistent in the way we play the game.
That too.
I think perhaps. Oh, I had a really good line here. What was I gonna say?
Oh, no, he had it all built up in
Okay,
his head.
consistency. There was. Oh no, dude.
So you want to know how Scream approaches life? Every second of every day, he sees 3 doors in front of him with how like life is gonna go and what someone is gonna say. So he's predicted like kind of all this.
Right.
So he knew
he
I was gonna
says.
bring that up, and then he was gonna go towards consistency. And he had this great one-liner to start this off, and he just slipped away.
Oh, I know what I was gonna say.
All right, go ahead.
He
Do
found
you
it.
need
He
me to
found
reset
it.
the
No,
stage
no,
again,
no,
or is
no,
it
no, it's
the
good.
moment's
He
still
actually
here?
predicted this part too.
I want us to be more consistent across the way we play the game, and I also want to be able to continue improving. I think at the rate we were improving, because I think with how little roster changes there were, I think that we still, in theory, have more improvement potential than other teams.
Right.
Like teams like Bolts, for example, or like maybe even Warriors. Like they were together a lot longer than we were. And I think that there's just still more time for us to improve, and I want to try and continue the improvement pace that we were at.
Well, what Worlds semis is
Yeah.
that's hard to do, right? That's a hard.
Some, you know.
Some will bring.
That's
Number
a
2
hard.
KDA right there.
That's right. Look, it's a hard point to reach, and so if there's still improvement, above and beyond that, I'm sure the goal of the year is to win Worlds, and you guys were really close to doing that last year. Outside of the Valkyries, though, and we'll talk about them here in a little bit. we've already mentioned a handful of times. Feels like the other teams have also minimally changed. Any thoughts as to why? I know that we've mentioned there could have been a domino effect, things like that. Do you think every team was just happy with certain points throughout the year and they didn't feel a need to change rosters, or do you have any thoughts on why most of the rosters were mostly the same?
I think when the top teams kind of stick together, it keeps a lot of the lower middle teams kind of sticking together a bit too. Levi's no change. Titans pretty minimal changes. Right. So like if those teams kind of stay consistent, all the other teams are usually going to stay the same too.
Right.
Yeah, and I'd say for the most part, people are pretty comfortable with who they've been playing with, from my experience. There's a few things that I've heard that maybe could have changed, but just didn't work out, I guess.
Right.
And at this point in the game, I think it's easy for people to know who they want to play with and who they don't want to play with, because the league's been mixed for like 3 years now. So they've kind of, if they've tried like different people, like playing with different people on different teams, they would have a better read on who they want to play with and who they don't want to play with. So they maybe just feel more comfortable with who they're playing with right now.
I think Zap made the argument that, on top of that, like every team, it felt like last year had moments where they were a very, very competitive roster at certain points. The Bolts went on their 8-9 set long win streak, and so like I think different teams had their moments and maybe realized that you work out some issues, things could still look good for those rosters. With the minimal changes, does any team come to mind in your guys' head or opinion that feels drastically different with only a one-player change going into Season 9?
I think that Titans team actually kind of switches up a lot.
Yeah.
Benji and Solo are like completely different players.
I think they'll be a lot more aggressive early game.
Sure.
Going into this, just like I think that's just how like Layers and Sok kind of want to play on that side. I imagine there'll be like way more like fights over in that side. So I would expect to see like way less like kind of like the Nike picks that they were picking a lot, or like the Cthulhu where they would just like play to scale.
They also gave up Bardio a lot too, just to lose that side.
Like Benji was obviously such an insane player that he could like play those like losing lane matchups and still like kind of like be in a good spot most of the time. And I just don't. That's not really Sot's playstyle. Sot just wants to be in your face. Like he'll take a tower shot to do 50 damage to you. Like
hell yeah.
It's So I think they'll play a lot different. I think a lot of people would probably expect the Dragons to be a lot different as well.
Right.
But I don't know if I think the same. I kind of think that they might have a lot of the same issues that they had.
Sure.
From last year. So I think a lot of people might say the Dragons would seem different, but because Paycon's just more of like a hyper carry player than Hurry, but I don't think it'll be that much different. Personally.
Well, it shouldn't really change their playstyle, right?
Well,
in my opinion.
I get the impression that they'll probably try and treat it almost like Paygon, like Shinto, like farming, give him all the farm kind of thing and funnel him. And I just don't know if that, as a team, that they will work that way very well.
Yeah, could be growing pains there for the Dragons for sure. Any other takes on teams that you guys expect to be different? I think Titans and Dragons, kind of what came to mind for me, is potentially a little different. Leviathans obviously stay the same. Warriors stay the same. I don't even know if there's changes outside of the handful of rosters.
I think the Warriors might honestly just.
That's a good point. The Warriors didn't change.
But their situation has changed. Yeah, their situation has changed.
Do we expect a different Warriors team then in Season 9?
I think you should.
I think if they don't get off to a good start, I wouldn't expect a different Warriors team. But I think if they have a good spring split here, I think that they could become a way better team. Just because mentally, like last year was probably pretty difficult for them in general.
Right.
So I think having a good start to the year would probably be a good start for them. So.
Yeah, I mean that they have to go through the play-in tournament. Looked like the best team in the tournament once they really hit the ground running. And then the other team through the play-in tournament, the Valhalla Valkyries, who was the winter dogs for a while in the SEC. They've stuck together for what I guess a year plus at this point at the SEC level. What is everyone's take on an SEC roster transitioning into an SPL environment? Because obviously the play style is very different. Do we imagine that it'll be difficult at the start, even outside of just game skill? Is that an adjustment in your mind, going from SEC matches up to SPL matches?
Yeah, I think it was kind of like the same thing when you're comparing like console kind of to the Pro League. When you have like this limited ceiling you can scrim against, because for the most part SPL teams are scrimming SPL teams, SEC teams scrimming SEC teams. it's very hard for your ceiling to get that much higher than your competition that you're playing against. That's why everyone always says you play the best team you can possibly, or you scrim the best possible team you can scrim against, so then you can slowly climb up to reach their level. In theory, that's what you want. And I think you're very limited in the SEC because you're mostly scrimming SEC teams.
Right.
And I wouldn't be surprised if they start off a bit low in the rankings, but with a few SPL scrims, I think they could climb up because they were far and away the second best team at that play-in tournament, like far and away.
Agreed.
So yeah, I think it kind of just depends on how much they learn from scrims and how fast.
At the same time, though, they've also had like on those players, they've had like a lot of competitive experience. Like even like Benny, he hasn't played SPL, but he like knows. Like it's like a big advantage just know how like things go.
Right.
Like even just like the SPL level because it's just different. It's hard to explain, so it's like pretty bad answer by me, but
No, I
just
think
the way things are is just way different, and I think Benny Q will understand that, and then obviously like Wowie's been in the SPL.
Aqua.
Like, yeah, Aqua's been in the
Aqua,
SPL.
yep.
Like they know what they're doing, and they can obviously also help each other. So I don't know. I almost think that they're gonna maybe even be like one of the top teams at the start. They've been together for a really long time. They have really good synergy, and I also think being able to play on like the playoffs or whatever it's called was actually like really big. Even if like the meta is completely different, just like getting like that LAN time and like playing together as a team, like that's like huge, I think. So I actually think that they're going to hit the ground running and like be really scary at the start, honestly.
Yep. Yeah, I don't think motivation's an issue for any of the teams in the league, but theirs is definitely a different style of like, all right, we're here, but now we got to prove that we belong kind of style of motivation. So I'm excited for that team. All of Season 9, I think it's going to be exciting. So competitive last year in Season 8. Again, with minimal changes, whole new roster in the Valkyries, but they have their strong points. I think Season 9 shaping up to be very, very competitive as well. Let's talk about SMITE a little bit before we move on to some fan Q&A. Season 9 meta, we have not seen, outside of the play-in tournament, we have not seen any of the pro teams, although that Conquest game you guys just played, that was Season 9.
A little
preview. Initial takes on Season 9 meta, maybe as it pertains to your role or your team as a whole, or do you feel like the game is going to be played drastically different from what we sain Season 8?
I'm doing the same thing. Building the same
farm.
They're kind of different now.
A little
Might be
bit.
cooking up a little something, but
I don't think there's too much like different. Like the obelisk thing is kind of different, but like I think they kind of nerfed it a little bit, so it's like not as important. You can like trade like scorpions or whatever for them, like for like yeah.
Sure.
I don't know. I lost
That's
track.
yeah, you can just
I like
end it there. And just, yeah, I mean,
are we throwing our lives away for Obelisk? What's the?
no, it was actually worth so much before that
some people still
your
are.
life as a support was worth way less than
people-
Obelisk. You were actually better off inting for Obelisk when it was first introduced because of just how OP it was, and now it's just a lot worse. And I think that it's kind of made the meta stay pretty similar to Season 8.
Yeah.
Builds haven't changed too much. A lot of the change that should have happened in Season 9 is mostly towards the late game, so that's really the only thing that will be getting changed, like the Tier 3 relics, the glyphs, stuff like that. It's more to the late game.
Right.
So we don't get to feel all of it because a lot of games don't always get that long.
They're kind of decided before that would be an impact anyway.
Right.
So in competitive anyway, especially.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of snowballiness here in the last couple matchups. Boronic, thoughts on mid lane at the moment? We expecting much different from what we saw at the end of the year last year?
I thought the pen changes opened up like a wide variety of like just picks. Like you can almost play anything in the Mage tab, and if it was good for the draft, you can almost play it like whenever. But it's kind of like leaning back to just very similar to last year.
Just locking the team up. That's all you got to do. That's all you got to do.
So like, I don't know. For me, maybe we have to play more and see how the year goes on and the meta develops. But it's kind of the same. Not
Look,
much
we love our Agnes, we love our Thoth, right?
Agnes, actually.
I mean, I guess I say we, but that's like the SEC qualifiers these last couple weeks. It's been like Agni, like all day, artillery style mages. Who played Thoth in the Conquest game? That was you?
Just try hard.
Yeah.
Right. Well, it looks so good that maybe we throw some Stuart Thoth in the mid lane at some point.
Man, I might have the best thoughts in the league.
Just hope no one locks in a Wheelix.
Yeah, that's right.
You're talking about me? Didn't you miss a Kraken on that guy?
Didn't you get soloed by that guy?
I was having fun. I was already 20 kills up.
He gamed on you though.
Guys, I think we see our 2 weak links.
Right.
Not me.
You're the one talking, huh?
Loki and Omnipotence.
I don't know. I
played
will
pretty
say,
well.
not that
You want to see that Loki in the SPL? Is that what you're?
Myth was actually, there was a couple like, oh no, Bobby styling on these guys happening while that game was going on because our mics were dead.
way.
He was
and
playing
so,
Loki, man.
I'm the
80%
messenger.
CDR
I'm the messenger.
I could play
If he
anything.
wasn't silent, he's pummeling
Yo,
this.
I could play
I'm the
anything,
messenger.
and they'll still be like, it's just
Okay,
that.
take
God,
this up
like
with
You
this
need
guy.
to just ignore this. You know his opinion of Cthulhu is that he's just a better Ganesh.
You-
All right, go
All right,
ahead.
hear me
Start
out.
this, bro.
Go ahead.
Hear me out. Okay. Consider it.
Okay.
You're team fighting late game, mid game, whatever it is. You're team fighting. That's the entire point of the Cthulhu. Ganesh hasn't played for the early game really, so you're kind of just playing for that mid late
Right.
game. So you make it to the mid game, not mid lane, mid game, and you have Cthulhu to be able to ult, knock up on a 3-second cooldown, heal on a 3-second cooldown. Big area damage, you can body block. The compassion in the late game, you have extra health to trade away.
I'm failing.
Ganesh, on the other hand,
You're arguing Cthulhu support here. Like
yeah,
you're
of
thinking
course, of
Cthulhu
course.
support would be better than.
Of course, I am arguing Cthulhu support is just a better Ganesh. He lanes better, a lot safer. You can't block his dash. It's also really sick for setting up because you can knock people to the side.
It's way worse.
Your one, wait, listen, guys. When you're diving, Ganesh 1 just makes you do a little extra damage. Damage isn't a problem. You need to reduce some damage. You know what Cthulhu 1 does?
Might reduce some damage in that. I think it might.
It reduces damage.
Get a grip.
And then, to end it off, the area control that Cthulhu has with this too, it's just bonkers, honestly.
Yeah. Dharmic Pillars is just
Do you love
chopped
laning
liver,
this
right?
Pretty useless.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I've
That's
heard
your
this too many
support.
times.
Right. You're exhausted of hearing this.
Yeah.
Do you want to answer back or not give it the time of day?
I mean, I've never heard a worse opinion in my entire life.
And that's coming from this
Like,
guy. He has a lot of
Has
bad
a lot of
opinions.
bad
Like,
opinions.
I've heard a lot of bad opinions. Like, don't get me wrong, but that one it's top 2 at least.
Honestly, if we still had Salt, we would easily have the worst opinion ever in the SPL. It wouldn't even be close.
Surely I carry a little bit.
You don't have
Yeah,
opinions.
having him and Solo on the same
when I
team
do,
for
they
opinions
bang.
is pretty bad.
I have great opinions.
once every 3 months.
That's all I need.
Sure.
That's all I need.
His opinion is, anybody else have any ideas?
There's
What do you guys
actually
think I should do here?
there's a good segue into fan Q&A. Who has the worst ideas during picks and bans?
Scream.
Bro, that's Bobby, bro.
Okay,
Okay,
no one
during
else but
picks
me and
and
Stream
bans,
talking
it's
picks and
Scream.
bans.
That's got to be Bobby.
It's just
bro.
me and Stream talking in
That's
picks and
got to
bans.
be Bobby, bro.
It's me.
No, he
It's
slams some good picks sometimes.
Scream.
Bobby?
Yeah.
Yeah, but he has way more worse picks
Peter,
than anybody
you
else.
have got to listen to me. It's Scream.
Bro.
You know how many times in Scrim
It's
you say,
hard with something
where
wrong.
did our draft go wrong? And then we think back and it's him
Yeah, well,
saying,
it's because it's him not saying anything. It's him just slam locking
Right, but
something.
that's-
I'm like,
that's
oh,
not
okay,
no,
my
it's
I
also
guess-
like
I guess our
offering
draft
picks
is
to one of
different
these two and
It's
then they're
not me,
like,
bro.
sure.
I'm literally a draft mastermind, so it
Me
can't
offer.
be me.
I'm literally
You know it
I'm
can't
literally
be
forced
me.
to first pick Medusa. and
You're
it's
the
on me
draft
every
mastermind.
game. Where am I supposed to chime in if I'm forced to pick Medusa? and Isn't on me every game.
Forced.
Forced.
What other picks do you want to play?
He doesn't
Anything.
know. He doesn't know.
Maybe
He
a little
doesn't
Charger.
have an opinion.
Maybe a little Rama. He's been talking about Rama, but no, it's Medusa every game.
She's OP.
All right. Let me change the wording. Who's like hit rate on like even not so much who speaks the most. But like whose hit rate on good or bad picks is the best? Like say Boronic says like one thing during picks and ban, but it's always bad, right? Like he has a 0% hit rate. Like whose hit rate would you say is the worst on the team as
Bobby's
far
for
as
sure. Yeah,
Bobby has
No.
Bobby has some really
It's
like
not
he'll
close,
say like
bro.
this is the best pick here.
Are
I'll
we
be like,
talking
"That's
like
not
if
true."
it's locked in or if it's just like
Nothing
me,
in general.
me
If you're
throwing
having a
out
discussion,
ideas?
a
He's the
serious,
worst.
a serious
If
idea.
it's spoken about,
by far is Bobby.
it could
yeah.
barely be me. But if
Barely.
it's actual lock-ins, it's
Right.
Scream.
No way, man.
He is
That
literally-
is 100% right.
That's actually
Because
true.
his
It's not
lock-ins are
close,
the
though.
worst.
He has a lot of
No,
bad
it's like-
opinions.
Yeah,
but
100%.
sometimes you'll say like I have to pick this god here, and I'm like nah, no way. And then
No,
you
it's
do
like
it,
we're
and you
playing
own.
arena and they're at like
But-
one ticket, I'm at two. Like I'm going for that kill, and it's like, and like he's
Right.
like the one.
Right.
So it's Bobby.
So hit rate on
It's Bobby.
That's terrible.
but maybe
Hey,
lock
but,
in
okay,
rate.
I just try to be creative.
Sure. You gotta look, get the wheels turning a little
Exactly. If nobody else is throwing out
Someone's gotta
ideas,
do it, I guess.
I
Who
got
else is throwing out?
if nobody else is throwing out ideas, I gotta throw out the Willick support,
the shotgun
whatever
method.
it is.
bit. Oh, I'm against you now. We like support? No chance.
No, actually, I don't play that.
You just heard him argue that
Right.
Cthulhu is
They
a
don't
better
let me
Ganesh.
play it.
you're right.
If
I
they
don't
let
know
me
how
play
it
it, I could show them how good it was.
Okay, maybe Cthulhu's good, but why are you comparing him to Ganesh?
He's better.
Yeah, but are we saying he's just a better pick or a
No,
better
he's a
Ganesh?
better-
He's saying
No,
he's
he's
a
just a better
better
Ganesh.
He's a better version of Ganesh.
Yeah. And
Because
that's
that makes
just
loads of
not-
Okay,
sense.
That's
Here's the
He's the
problem.
best
I'm by far the worst Smite player at this table, so all I can do is nod my
I
head.
know,
because
they're
I
with you.
can't-
They're right there with you.
You
Worst
can
players at the
disagree.
table.
I can't have an opinion.
You can disagree with him.
How much
Anyone
hard
knows.
CC does Ganesh have in his kit? 1 hard CC.
Silence is a hard CC.
Depending on how you
So
place the
stun and
Dharma
knockout?
Killers,
That's
you can,
whatever. That's
you can
whatever.
make someone
Whatever.
face
He has
press from it.
1 single person CC. You know Cthulhu? Massive pool of root.
Can we please move on from this? I cannot.
No, I just love how passionate he gets about it. We can move on. We can move on to the next Q&A. I guess we got a little bit of it during our example Conquest Fun stream against the Scarabs. If everyone had to off roll for one game, and what would it be? So with the,
Wait,
the
can
five
you
guys at
actually
this
guess,
table right
Greg? Can
here,
you guess his?
where would
Where would
Scream
he
go?
choose to play?
If you're a Scream fan, it's so easy.
It's so easy.
It's so
where
easy.
would
No, I'm not a Scream fan.
Yeah,
so
me neither.
I don't blame you. I actually don't blame
I
you.
potentially have the most dominant jungle and blank role in the game. So
He's gonna say mid.
Correct.
correct.
The only
I'm
thing,
such a Scream
the only
fan, I know,
title
and I
he
just-
has is that he's soloed Paul 3 times with Morgan with what was it, Ornate Arrow or whatever.
Hey,
Yep.
people say I have the best MILF in the league.
No one says that except you.
Do you say that?
I'm the best. I mean, I'm pretty clean on Morgan. That's all I gotta say.
Are we agreeing
That's all
then
I gotta
that
say.
Scream
This
would
is
be in mid?
definitely
Yeah.
Where would we put
He
Slaney?
may not be the best in
Nah,
mid, but
I
he'd
think
be mid.
I think he would be a better mid than Scream.
Easily.
The thing is, we'd probably have to, if we roll swaps, he would have to play mid because he
Yeah.
can't play any other role.
You know that meme with the mask face where it's like him smiling but behind the mask.
Yeah,
he's
behind
like,
he's really sad about it.
Yeah, that's him right now.
Yeah. I don't know, he looks really sad on the surface too. So we sticking Stu in mid?
No, man.
No,
They're-
we
they're-
have to.
We have to.
we
We can't play anything
they're
else.
just
Because this
hating.
guy can
Oh,
play anything.
He would have
Right.
a temper tantrum if he got put anywhere else.
That's true too.
He would just AFK in base.
They're just hating.
So for the mental and for lack of other roles, we're putting Scream in mid.
Yeah. I actually don't even know where anyone else would go.
I
I guess
can
you
play
would have
one
to
in
go.
jungle.
You'd have to
Yeah.
go jungle.
You could do
If it-
anything.
So you playing
I'm
solo or
Phil.
support?
I'm Phil.
I guess I'm
I'll
coaching.
Ronnie
play-
said ADC.
Yeah.
Ronnie said he would do ADC.
So I guess you'd have to play support.
Stolo?
If we have Bobby off roll, we've already lost.
What do you
So it doesn't
mean?
Matter.
I'm a menace.
Those 2K MMRs, those games are lethal, Bobby. How's Smelly Shoe doing lately?
Let's keep playing a lot of
Hey.
Cthulhu support.
But
Smelling it up or?
you guys want to know the win rate
no
of
one
Smelly
wants to-
Shoe?
Is that your account?
That's my
Your Smelly
solo
Shoe?
lane Smurf.
Got
I guess
it.
they're a different account.
What's your win rate?
It is about 75%.
Oh, that's solid.
It is nice.
At
The
what
problem is
MMR?
the
four
problem
games.
about like 2,100. The problem is there's only so much time in the day, and I've got so many accounts that I've got to get to GM that like I'm limited.
Sure.
If there's more time in the day, 3K on Smelly Shoe, and the other accounts and
I mean,
Inbound.
you got to consider
You
you're
know,
putting time into
there
the
are plenty
league.
of people who have like 4 different accounts in GM. You know that, right?
Like I said, if I had more time in the day,
It's the time of day, right? Who's got the
You're working
time?
on the League of
He who
Legends
cannot be
account.
named.
Exactly.
Okay.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, Myth's this is sort of unrelated. Myth, his main account now changes names every time he loses a game. He uses his gems that he gets to change his names. I think Fritos, Doritos, and Cheetos is his current name. So if you see him in any of your
You
games,
outed his Smurf, basically.
no, that's
his main.
Yeah, but it's his. If you're name changing, it's got
He
to.
changes it every time he loses a game. Does he have any gems left?
He's high-res.
Yeah, he just
He
messages
is
one of
high-res.
our he just messages one of our community managers, I'm
plug?
sure, and gets.
Can
the
we do
gems out
that?
of it.
I think that is a skin.
I'm saying I don't have enough gems.
I know. I had to ask for more gems for the Iza skin. It is worth it though because
It's a great skin.
it's an awesome skin. All right, a couple more questions from the community here. You guys won all your games this morning. This one's actually from me. You guys won all your games this morning. Who carried the hardest?
Come on.
Gotta be me. I mean, I was frontlining in all those games.
Ain't no way.
Keep this guy
saw
on
the
mute.
Shiva.
It wasn't that guy.
Fifth,
You see the Thoth?
probably fourth,
Yeah, I was lagging a lot.
probably third.
I was frontline.
I think I was second. I think Stu carried
Okay,
most of them.
Peter and I had to be getting
Still.
the brunt force of
Still.
the lag. There's no way.
No,
There's
we were
no
all
way.
over.
No,
You guys
no,
just
we
sucked
had the
most.
same lag.
No,
No way it was
my
the same.
voice
I,
wasn't
wasn't,
same.
I didn't even see him lag.
I wasn't liking that.
I was lagging a ton.
Okay.
He wasn't even lagging.
Okay,
and
so he
wasn't even
he was
number one
third
carry.
best.
So he's got to go to fifth.
While he wasn't lagging.
I had
so
no
we can put him- we
consumables.
can
I had
put him
no
fifth.
consumables.
Fifth, fourth,
so.
third.
Didn't have
No
consumables.
And then
No,
we'll
mine.
put you tied. You
No,
tied.
he was carrying more. That Thoth game was
He didn't do
art.
anything in Thoth game.
I had like 20 kills.
I was getting
And
was
you
a
played
work of
God.
art.
You press Alt on a 10-second cooldown for
Okay,
3
and I
damage.
picked Thoth in.
That's true.
It was a work of art.
I was farming.
You
I
were
had
missing
GPM King.
Krakens.
GPM King.
I'm
The
beside
mantle's been taken.
Which of the 3 games were you most worried of losing?
The assault game.
That's all game. I was literally AFKing.
Bro,
At what point
Me and
did,
Brendan
was
were
there ever
mentally
a
checked out
concern
of
that
that
you were
game.
actually going to lose that?
I was
I
left
was
behind
I was
in the
level
trenches.
17
I was top four in that
Cthulhu.
game, too.
I was level 17 Cthulhu. I clicked tab and my Vulcan's like level 9, and I'm like, what is going on?
Was there ever a
why.
point in that game, you're level 17 Cthulhu, and you're like, man, thank God I'm not Ganesh right now. You know, like I'm just doing what I feel like the better Ganesh.
I
Like,
would
did
have
that ever cross your mind?
You had Ganesh and you popped off. You had like 20 kills bestowed.
Okay, keep in mind that I can literally play anything.
Cthulhu couldn't do that. Cthulhu can't be gifting kills.
Yeah, he doesn't
My
bestow.
Cthulhu could do
He's
that.
taking them all.
Oh yeah, I should be taking them.
Yeah,
the way I
but Ganesh
play.
is so friendly, he gives them all.
Yeah, that's why I don't want to play him.
I feel like Stu would be
gone
the
to the
first
root.
person to argue against not playing Ganesh because he gets all the kills gifted over if it ever happens.
No,
right?
we just die in laning phase a
Yeah,
lot.
you think they're getting kills in lane?
Listen, somebody's gonna die no matter what. I just brawl. That's my new philosophy. You
Stu
just
goes
brawl
into lane.
and-
Stu
just brawl.
goes
What
into
happens,
lane.
what
He's like,
happens?
I think someone's gonna die in this lane. 30 seconds later, our ADC's dead.
And then I come back in the first minute and I die again.
He started the Zatman philosophy of
Well, this is 11 a.m.
He
script.
actually
Right.
came in we kind of properly started scrimming hot
Right.
this week, and he came in. He's like, yeah, I was talking to Steve. Like, I'm just gonna play like Steve now.
Yeah.
So he is running it. Every
So that's what
single
you.
game.
So when we talk about changing a philosophy from year to year, what you want to change is to just run it down this year and brawl.
Yep.
You remember our philosophy last year was Bobby, don't get first blooded.
Right.
It's changed now to Stu, don't
Right.
get first blooded.
Yeah, but now there's an obelisk for you to like.
no, I didn't
Not in the
I didn't even
first,
consider
not in the
walking
first 30
down.
seconds of the game. We
true.
gotta get to 4 minutes first.
That's true.
I didn't even consider
There's a
going
lot of
to
double
it.
kills over there.
It's just never.
Yeah, because we're getting ganked.
It's just never
Right?
my. Yeah, we don't have a jungler.
We actually don't.
Because he wants to be in mid, right?
No, he's on back camp.
Well,
every time.
he complains about this, but at Worlds he had the most duo lane.
Yeah, and
Hey, guess
we
who
were
did well at
winning, and
Worlds?
we were
Really,
winning.
man, World semis. Come on.
Guys, it's just scrims, guys. I'm testing stuff.
I'm testing
That's
stuff.
right.
I'm testing stuff too.
Yeah, we're testing our
He is the
2v2.
biggest limit tester.
We're testing our comeback, right?
True.
We're seeing how the duo lane can turn it around. All right, we'll go with like two more here. Mandatory 1v1. Not against anyone specific. You get to pick a god, but also ban a god to win $1 million. A 1v1 to win $1 million. Who are you picking? And then you get to ban out one god that you do not want to go against.
I'll go first here. I'm picking Uller, and it doesn't matter who I'm banning. and I
Maybe
wipe
you should
everyone
ban
at the
his
table.
Uller.
That's right.
No.
Oh wait, no, that was
was
Oliver that
Oliver.
you lost.
Yeah,
so
I
never
don't-
mind.
And he chalice abused.
I
don't
destroyed
care.
this guy in an
I don't care. He
I'm
chalice
kind of
abused.
thinking I just cheese and go Baka.
After scrims
Yeah.
one day, he
I
was
just
like,
ban like
any
Poseidon
bans?
or Kronos, and I just go Baka and just take every camp, get to 20 when they're level 15.
Yeah, that's kind of my
get one
idea.
kill and win
I'm
the
probably
game.
banning Kronos and picking Loki.
Yeah.
You guys are pathetic.
pick
It's for
Kali.
$1 million.
Fight somebody, man.
Yeah, you hit
Pick Kali
20.
and ban
Fight
Hell.
somebody.
Fight for $1 million.
It's $1 million.
Respect for banning Hell because
Yeah, hell
You
players.
can lock in your Ula
they've gotta
and
go.
you'll die on cooldown. That's fine.
Nope, I'm first blooding you in the
Hell
first
players.
minute.
You're gonna axe my minions. I'm not. You won't even see me for 20 minutes.
I'll find
I'll
you.
be running around in the jungle,
I find you 100%.
eating everything.
Boronic, round us out here. Who you picking? Who you banning? $1 million
picking James.
1v1.
Have you ever played a 1v1 in your entire life?
Since it's a duel, the other guy's probably going to be a millionaire. Not it's not going to be me.
You just gotta cut him a deal.
Doesn't matter. I'm gonna lose.
Down for 100K. Right?
500, we'll split it halfway.
Right.
I'm probably going to just try to split it with him or something.
Fair
try
enough.
to work out a deal.
Right.
Maybe I get 25%. I don't know, something.
That's like a philosophy thing, right? Like you and another, like the game show thing, where you and somebody else are on a game
yeah.
show, and like if one person takes the money,
The
then they
steal
get it
thing.
all or whatever. But if you agree to split it, then you get to
Oh,
split
the
it.
who's not the what's it called or whatever, and you have to like.
Yeah, I forget what the name is.
I
That's
know.
just, that's,
Yeah, like
that's
split
faith in
steal,
humanity.
basically,
You know,
yeah.
at that point, you're putting your faith in someone else.
Oh wait, never mind.
Speaking of
Different game.
Uller, we have so far, we only have had the Leviathans in, but we let them choose Uller and Anher in the 1v1s. So Uller is an option for 1v1s if we get to them later on today. Just saying.
Anher.
You just gotta be respectful and go on it.
They're gonna pick
It's
on
just
there.
disrespectful.
They would
to
know
go
who would
Ula.
win.
It's disrespectful.
All the Leviathans win Uller. That's all I'm saying.
They're Uller players.
I will say those engagements were very funny because you like spam all your buttons and then you just stand in front of one another auto attacking for like 10 seconds.
Yeah.
Honor
Right.
has way more room for outplay.
Yeah.
Way more room.
Well, if we get to 1v1s
In
today, that
1v1s.
is an option.
Definitely.
Uller's literally just sitting axe stance like this, and then they like run around and they just throw their axe out, and then they continue
You just
walking
throw
around.
down you throw out your abilities every like 6
Oh, yeah.
seconds as someone's dead
They
eventually.
sit in axe stance just so they could throw out their axe, because the only time they win 1v1s is when they hit the axe.
I think the final and most important question, what type of sauce do you put on your nuggets?
Honey
Barbecue.
mustard.
Barbecue.
If it's not barbecue, you're wrong.
Honey mustard.
Nope.
Honey mustard is right.
Nope.
100%.
Is that,
That's
isn't
what
that too
barbecue,
spicy?
barbecue,
Isn't that too
honey
spicy
mustard,
for
too
you? Is honey mustard too spicy for you, Bobby?
I recently have been getting both Buffalo and Ranch.
Oh.
And it's actually pretty good.
This guy's fancy.
Like,
Do you mix them or you double dip?
Wait, is
mix
this a
up
you mix?
sometimes. Maybe it's only
You
Buffalo.
put them in a bowl and you mix them
just
together?
mix them with your fingers.
Wait, isn't that just wings though? They already have buffalo sauce and you dip them in ranch? Are you just discovering?
What's
How wings-
Boneless chicken
wings.
nuggets or chicken breasts,
Yeah,
right?
wings
That's
sound pretty
completely
good right
different
now.
piece of
Those are what
chicken.
I
boneless
guess
wings
that's
are,
true.
right? Just nuggets.
Here's the thing about boneless wings.
Whoa.
Okay,
They're
no,
just nuggets.
okay,
They're
who
just
cares?
better.
Depends
They're
on the
just
meat.
better.
No, you're right.
They're just
He's
better.
right.
They
but
are
they're
nuggets,
better than the
but
wings.
My opinion, they are just nuggets, but I also don't care.
Yeah, it doesn't
Because
matter.
they taste
They're
good,
just
right?
better.
Yeah.
They're just better.
I don't know if they're better. Sometimes I'm craving like an actual
man.
wing, right?
They're just too
But-
annoying to eat.
I think-
they're just so messy for no reason.
Right.
Kind
They're,
of.
they're very messy. But I do agree that anyone saying boneless wings are wings is wrong.
Have you not seen the pushdown strike?
But I also don't know if it matters, right? It's just another good food.
Like, why would I? I could just like.
Did anyone else not answer the final sauce question?
Peter.
Peter.
Don't make me
Peter, what's your favorite sauce?
awesome. Just put on the spot. I don't. It's cringe, but I don't like condiments and stuff like ketchup and mustard and stuff.
Agro's with you on that. He hates them.
I just can't. Do
I would
it.
not want to be stuck in like a group with aggro. That just does not sound like. That's tough.
That's the goat. The goat Costa.
That
You're
is the goat.
disrespecting him.
the goat caster.
Maybe it's because of the
He's
sauce.
he's a developer now, in case you forgot.
Well, he was the goat.
Right, he was the goat, but he doesn't like condiments. So there you go. You're not alone in that one.
Smart man.
Solar Scarabs, I'm excited to watch you guys play this year. I think high potential. Already reached World Semis, World Finals on the mind for the Solar Scarabs in Season 9. Appreciate you guys sitting down with me. Thanks everyone for watching. Stick around, we got more content coming up next.
Hey, wait, what did it win?
You win the respect.
Telling me an alien wore this?
Perfect. Okay, that was a good cut.
Messaging him to mute.
The best graphics you really need, Ultra, of course, and I can probably watch a stream on the side.
Content's gonna look good.
Pretty good, pretty good.